Friends, I got to bring you breaking news. It turns out that Mount Weather, the government's continuity of government plans, appears to possibly be activated right now. You might recall that some people, such as inventor Lee Wilbarger, has talked about the kind of things you would see that if the continuity government plans got activated, and it was going to be a whole lot of helicopter traffic. My friends, I've got a good friend, Doug Thompson, whose family lives in Shenandoah Valley, right next to Mount Weather, where he grew up. And he's reported to me that they're hearing all kinds of helicopter activity, aircraft activity. He said the skies are loud in that area, right around Mount Weather. As a matter of fact, he said that the helicopters are running with no lights. Now, you know, according to the FAA, you're supposed to have running lights on any aircraft. And the only time that's done is when aircraft are running covertly, either legally or illegally. Drug runners, for example, or government under special operations. So, my friends, this is serious that Mount Weather has suddenly got like a beehive. It is buzzing in Mount Weather right now. And his family went out to try to see, his father and mom try to see some of these helicopters. He said they have no tail markings. The letters you'd see on the tails, typically telling you what they were, are not there. So this is highly interesting. It's highly disturbing. I wonder if there's anybody on the Potomac seeing the helicopters going in and out there. It may not be. It may be that they're not yet evacuating the people on DC. It may not be to that point, but they're getting ready. They're preparing for something. Something is cooking, and it's not good, whatever it is. So you need to be aware of this. This is what I'm letting you know. And guys, furthermore, Russia has a Doomsday submarine that's just went out on the loose. And there was some supposedly top secret intel, which has been leaked by the Italian media, which said that it was going to go on its exercises to test the Poseidon nuclear submarine torpedoes, drone torpedoes. These are the most powerful super weapons ever devised in the history of mankind. They are frightening to the core. We're talking the potential to carry warheads twice as big as the most powerful nuclear detonation on Earth. The Tsar Bomba is a device that was tested at half scale in Russia. They could not test the full-scale Tsar Bomba because it was so powerful. They tested a half-scale version, and it was mind-boggling. That was 50,000 megaton bomb. They're capable of producing a full-scale Tsar Bomba, which is 100 megaton bomb. And that's what the sub torpedo is designed to carry. Now, the Belgrade submarine has suddenly vanished, and it's supposed to be capable of carrying 6 of these devices, potentially up to 6 100 megaton nuclear devices. They're also capable of carrying 2 megaton devices. Any of these devices, even the 2 megatons, could wipe out a city with a nuclear irradiated tsunami. Oh, yeah, they add cobalt-60 to these devices. They're cobalt salted, like the old Doomsday bomb scenario that we used to study about in civil defense back in the days when there was civil defense. The whole idea was that a 50,000 megaton cobalt salted device explode in the atmosphere, could spread enough radiation around the world to do this all in. Wow. And these kind of devices are existent apparently at the 100,000 megaton, 100 megaton range for tsunami generation. We won't be in the atmosphere, but God love and protect the fish and all the mammals that can't stand all this loud racket, and especially, mostly, the people on the coast. Now, I've done videos where I talked about you don't want to live on the coast, my friends. I've talked about this. I'm going to open up this video where I can watch y'all's live chat. Guys, I'm bringing this live to you today because this is breaking news, and I just didn't want to take the time to upload it. And all the delays and recording the video, uploading the video, going through the process, and it takes. Now that's actually, has some advantages for my channel to do that. But this news is so breaking. I thought, I just got to bring it to you. Got to bring it to you right now. I'm going to bring you some other things about this. So I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm not saying this is going to be released, but I'm saying that we are in very serious times. This is the most serious time we've been in since the Cuban Missile Crisis. I can't think of any time that we have been so concerned about things like this. And a lot of people say this is worse than the Cuban Missile Crisis. And I'm going to go into it. I'm going to show you how and why this could escalate very rapidly, and why Russia might have a trick up their sleeves. As you may recall that I have had Dr. Peter Vincent Price on my channel right here many, many times. And one of the things, I'm so thankful that Nate from Canadian Preppers put him on his channel, because now it went out to a broader audience, but I had him here first. So it's a good thing that Nate takes some of these guys like, David Pine, I get a few thousand views on my channel. On his channel, it's like 100,000, over 100,000 views. They're like no time flat. Okay, cool. Well, we had him here first. So guys, Cuban Nurse Prepper, how you doing? Guys, this is not pretty. I'm going to show you some stuff before I do. Let's just think about the gravity of what we're looking at. And what is this all really fundamentally over? Why are we facing such dire threat in our world right now? I mean, essentially, now we're not going to be wiped out, but it's going to be the most awful biblical kind of thing you can imagine. It's like cracking open the book of Revelations. Yeah, that's what it's like, and reading toward the end part. The horsemen are mounted. The horsemen are riding, apparently. War, starvation, famine, pestilence, death, all that. Those steeds are mounted. They're snorting, pawing, and running. That's what it looks like. I hope I'm wrong. I hope and pray that this is not how it's going to go down, guys. Yeah, solar activity. Guys, they could do an MP attack on us just as a major solar flare is going out, and you're going to say, well, what happened? What was the sun? And I read a report. I've been planning to do a special video. There was a big writer from a big think tank, and citing another, weapon systems expert, and he was explaining, oh, well, the Russians want EMP us, we no chance of that, because, we know who did it, and then we'd attack them, and they'd risk all that. Oh, I could name many reasons why that's absolutely wrong. And, to heck with these so-called armed, these people get paid a lot of money. They're hired by universities. They're in think tank organizations. I'm going to tell you what, these guys don't know their yahoos from nothing else. I mean, guys, I don't even say it on here. What's in my mind. They don't have the sense God gave you last year's burden this. They can't put together the big picture in their little tiny heads, even though they're paid to be top level military analysts. I'm going to tell you what, I can beat them in a debate any day on earth. I'll take them on directly one-on-one anytime, because I know these systems. I know the technologies. I know how they integrate. I know what's possible. And I can tell them, I can fly circles around them anytime. And I'm going to tell you something, they're wrong, because I'm going to do a special video. They failed to take into account the fact that if you detonate a bomb, over 100 miles, 200 miles up, the debris is going to incinerate, come in the atmosphere. You're not going to be able to test it and know where it came from. And if they shoot it over the South Pole or out of the Gulf of Mexico, could have come out of Venezuela, like in the stations of Vicky Stream. It could be, and that's why I really took note with her, Jim. Said, oh, holy smoke. Oh my God, her vision, not dream. I said, yeah, this is the most plausible scenario. This is the one I'd been worried about. And then she comes to me telling me she's had this vision. Guys, from Venezuela, who is operating down there in that area? North Korea, Russia, China, and Iran. All these countries could potentially have a nuclear device and create the EMP super weapons and put them over the United States. China's done the ship launch systems. North Korea had the Chung gang steaming around in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico with two missile launchers inside ISO shipping containers in the cargo hold. They could have been on the deck of it for all we know at one time. There's so many things going on, guys, that these so-called analysts, they're a bunch of nuts. They're ignorant. They can't see the big picture because they're so focused on some little narrow aspect, which is typically what you do when you get a PhD. You focus on some little bitty aspect and you analyze the devil out of it, but you don't know what's left or right of you. You got to be a good analyst, will be able to integrate all the different points of view. Yeah, I've worked missile defense, and I've had the head of that program on this channel. No other YouTube channels had a guy who's that high in the Pentagon on their channels anywhere, anytime. Happened here, and you got 1,000 views. Oh, well. Ambassador Hank Cooper is who I'm talking about, in case you didn't know. And he's the guy to tell you how to get our grid hardened. At least he's working on getting it done in the Carolinas. If we took his example, we might get it done across the rest of the country. That's what I'm trying to get people to do, is pick these things up. At least they're making some progress there, but it's not fast enough, unfortunately, because we may be out of time, guys. It may be curtains for all this. Oh yeah, and the other thing that analysts failed to know about, is how we would respond. If our comms get taken out by EMP super weapons, there ain't no response. We're not gonna do anything. Our boats out in the ocean, our submarines, They won't get the messages that are required for them to launch their nuclear weapons. They won't get the EAM. They won't get the verification of the EAM. They won't get either one. They'll just be can't work, can't function. You know, Russia though has something called a dead hand switch. Their dead hand switch. I've done videos on this. Their dead hand switch. If like us, we can't launch unless these guys get a message to launch, and then they get the validation of the message and blah blah blah. They get to have all these things happen, line up right before they launch, which that might be a good thing if you weren't considering a potential surprise attack from the enemy. Now Russia, on the other hand, has a system. They call it their dead hand switch, or perimeter. The other name for it's perimeter. Yeah, and that kind of didn't understand what perimeter meant in that regard. He mentioned in the video. So he's at least trying to get the word out. Good for Nate. Man, I watch him. He's good. He's a great analyst. He's one of the best analysts in prepping world on YouTube. Some of you don't like him. I don't agree with everything he says. He don't agree with everything I say, but that's okay. We don't have to agree with each other entirely. But there's nuggets of information that different people bring to the fore. Okay, guys? But listen to this. The key thing that this dead hand switch is, there are certain conditions. If met, every system in Russia launches. If there is something that looks like a nuclear explosion inside of Russia, we don't know what all the inputs to the logic are. If they were, we'd better understand what it does. But some of that's classified, I suppose. If they have a detonation in Russia or an explosion, it could even be something like, it could even be maybe, it's possible that a large meteor like the Chelyabinsk event or Tunguska event could trigger it if suddenly communications is lost with Moscow. So if there's no communications to Moscow and things that look like a nuclear explosion, everything launches. Everything. There's no human involved in it, no human logic. It just goes, it flies. It's the opposite of ours. It is the Doomsday scenario from Dr. Strangelove, of all things. Are we living in science fiction? Maybe Dr. Strangelove, Mad Max. You know what? I was thinking about this. I was wondering about this. We're like in a science fiction era. We got these crazy things, doomsday scenarios, but at the same time, we got crazy technologies, AI, Musk trying to get us to Mars, unveiling his Optimus Prime robot. I'm seeing life extension technology suddenly coming out where technologies are beating. The technologies are mind-boggling that's in front of us. It's like science fiction on that end. But on the other side, if we wipe ourselves out, there ain't nothing. There's nothing. But, as I was sitting here thinking about all these things, you know what showed up on my phone? An ad for something called Soylent. This drink, Soylent. Remember Soylent Green from the movie Soylent Green, which was set in the year 2022? Holy smoke, guys. Yes, that suddenly hit me. Yeah, we're in a bad science fiction movie, I think, right now. That's what our world's turned into. But guys, goodbye to romance, says Leslie. So let me go through. I'm going to show you some stuff, guys. I mean, it is nuts where we're at right now. It is off the charts, nuts. So let me show you some things, guys. Hang on. I'm going to do some screen share, and we're going to look at this. We're going to actually go to Google Earth, too. I'm going to show you some articles. We're going to Google Earth and consider, I'll tell you where they need to be looking for this dadgum submarine. It might not be on a training mission. It might not be on a test mission. It may actually be on an operational mission. My dad in World War II was supposed to be in, they were told they'd have 3 training jumps before they went to combat. He said his 3rd training jump, they looked down and saw they was way over enemy lines. He said when the light come on the jump, he said, you never saw such a plane load of sick men. He said, why is this screen looking so faded out? Okay, guys, this is from the magazine, The Hill, the paper, The Hill. I've told y'all about this many times. This is a paper you'd see scattered through all the offices in Washington, D.C. and cafeterias and everywhere. You find this paper all over Washington, D.C. I know because I've been there many times. I run the halls of Congress. What other YouTuber can tell you that, huh? But y'all might remember talk of Petraeus. And I think I might have mentioned this in my last video. If I didn't, here it is, guys. I know you've probably heard some other channels. I'll throw a little different shade on this in some of the channels as well. Petraeus predicts U.S. will lead NATO response to what? Take out Russian forces if Putin uses nuclear weapon. Guys, what he's talking about here, where this is really matters, is this is what he's actually said. And he said some of this in this interview and a little bit somewhere else. Listen, in this interview, what he says, if Russia uses a tactical nuclear weapon in Ukraine, that we will take out all the Russian forces in all of what we consider to be Ukraine. Maybe not what Russia considers Ukraine anymore. We're talking about Crimea. You're talking about Donetsk, Luhansk. You're talking about Kherson. You're talking about Zaporizhia. That Russia, that the United States or NATO would take out all of the Russian forces. I mean, take them out. But he went on somewhere else to actually say they would also take out and sink their ships. That's a full attack on Russian forces and what Russia considers to be Russia by NATO. How is that not going to be responded to? How is that not like World War III? Because Petraeus, you know, so what if he's a 4-star general? You know, he's been retired 10 years. Let me show you something, guys. This guy, this is it. This is the YouTube article, not YouTube, the Wikipedia article on Petraeus. He was director of the CIA for about a year, and he got caught in kind of a scandal because his biographer and him were having an affair, and apparently he shared some intelligence with her that was secret, top secret, and it cost him his official career about 10 years ago. But this man has still been active. He's a 4-star general, was director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Yeah, look at him here with all his brass and medals and 4 stars. So that's General Petraeus. I'm going to come back and check you some of the chats in a minute, guys. If I haven't missed anything major. No super chats. Okay. All right. So, look here, guys. I got a lot of stuff to get here fast and furious, and then we can go to some. I don't want to be too long in this video, because if I do this video long, there won't be many people watching. Most of my live videos are like 2 hours long. I got to keep it down tonight if possible. You know what? We need to start the timer that Granny Lana gave me. There we go. Let's start that up. So we need to keep this shorter tonight. But guys, this guy, let me show you, he's connected. He's still very connected, even his retirement. Of course he would be. He's head of the CIA and all this other stuff, right? Let's go down here to the bottom of the article. These are the things that these are the organizations he's a member of. Co-chairman, Task Force on North America Council on Foreign Relations. You know, think about the Council on Foreign Relations. Yeah, this is big time order of the world, not so new, if you know what I mean. Big time. Member board of directors of Atlantic Council. Now, he's co-chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations. Who started that organization? Oh yeah, and who it started, but the youngest man who's ever president of it was David Rockefeller. You ever heard of him? Remember him? You know what kind of people we're talking about, guys? David Rockefeller. Co-chairman, Global Advisory Council, Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. Woodrow Wilson. Yeah, you remember him? Under him, the Federal Reserve got started, taxes got started, income taxes. We got into World War I. He was promoting League of Nations. Yeah, he's a studying himself of the some of the things that some of us aren't exactly super enthusiastic about, if you know what I mean. But he is just, you know, member and trustee, member, just tons of these. National Security Advisory Council, U.S. Global Leadership Coalition. Yeah, presidents. All these are present. These are things he's at. There's a whole litany of organizations herein that he is either a co-chairman of or a member of, faculty advisor, chairman, KKR Vets at Work, whatever that is. Member of board of directors of the blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Yeah, just on and on. Oh, yeah, McCain Institute for International Leadership. Oh, there's you a good one. There's you a good one. Woo. Yeah, okay. So if you really want to get an idea of the color of this guy, I found something else about him. Where was it? Something else here bugged me. Yeah, he got together with, listen, he started a group. He co-founded a group. It was Veterans for Gun Control. Yeah, literally. So I'm not, you know, Petraeus, though, he's been, you know, Obama appointed him to some of the positions. Yeah, but yet Trump considered this guy to be a Secretary of State. He didn't pick him. I'm glad he didn't pick him as Secretary of State, to be honest. This guy, I don't trust him. I'll be honest. I don't trust this guy. But that don't mean he didn't bring us the news he brought us isn't worthy. Hey, we got a super chat. Let me go up here and see who did this. Appreciate that, guys. Who brought me the super chat? I got to scroll up. Let me scroll down. Maybe it came later. This might not be down to it yet. Okay. Well, we got a lot of chat going on here. Well, there it is. Bicycle rider says, hi, I'm glad this news is so important. I'm nervous, Greg. Someone is going to pay for the gasoline explosion. Exactly. Yeah, that submarine, the Belgrade submarine has 6. Yeah, these torpedoes, I've talked about them. I'm going to show you where I've talked about them too in a little bit. 6 Poseidon torpedoes, each capable of carrying the Sarbama, the full-scale 100 megaton Sarbama. You know, Russia is talking about making an even bigger one, a 200 megaton Sarbama. What, for God's sake? One Sarbama is said to be capable of taking out the entire eastern seaboard of the United States with a big radioactive tsunami. It would take out all the cities, all the ports, all the military facilities on the seaboard. It would go for miles inland. Whew, radioactive. So once the waters recede, you ain't going back there. You don't want to go anywhere near that coast. It's unusual for generations to come. Guys, if you're living on a seaboard, if you're living in a coastal city, if you're living under 500 feet elevation, you need to be thinking about it. You better be thinking of a bug out plan to head to higher ground. I've covered that in videos. If y'all didn't watch them, don't say I didn't warn you. I've talked about this from way back. I'm probably the first YouTuber who's ever mentioned this device. Show me a YouTuber that had it before me. Maybe there is, but probably not in the prepperverse. It would have been a military channel, I would imagine. But then, see, I got that background. You know, guys, that's what the advantage of having a guy on here like me is, guys. I bring you this kind of stuff. So, see if someone who's in the house here. Okay. Anybody seen Lee Wilbarger? Is he in the house? He needs to see this stuff. But again, if you just joined it, Mount Weather is apparently being activated. Mount Weather is buzzing like a hornet's nest. In fact, the people that live around there, my friend Doug Thompson, he grew up right next to his parents are still living there, and they live at the Shenandoah Farms right next to Mount Weather, and they're saying the skies are loud with all the aircraft coming in and out, and these are aircraft running with no running lights. And they're helicopters. They've seen where there should have markings on the tail. There's no markings. Guys, Mount Weather is hopping. This is continuity of government type operation. This is what they do so that the government can survive, not us. So the government can survive these things, guys. Isn't that awful? Yeah, where's this? Yeah, I had it earlier highlighted. I put this on somebody else's chat where he had been involved in this. I probably don't go spend the time looking for it here, where he had been involved with the so-called Veterans Gun Control Organization. Not many veterans I know are for that kind of stuff. Oh, I got it highlighted. There it is. Oh, yeah, with Mark Kelly. Oh, my God, yeah, Mark Kelly. Astronaut Mark Kelly, whose, yeah, wife. Yeah, okay, guys. On June 10, 2016, Petraeus and Mark Kelly, not my favorite astronaut, a retired NASA astronaut, and later senator from Arizona, announced, remember that woman from Arizona got hit in an assassination attempt. I took her out. Let's see. Announced the creation of the gun control group, Veterans Coalition for Common Sense. Common sense, huh? Yeah. What do you expect from somebody who's co-chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations, for Pete's sake? That is the highest level intel think tank in the world. So you think this man don't have access to data, access to information? This man right here. Yes, he's got all kind of, yeah, see, he's got a CIA flag behind him there, looking all civilian. But he is definitely top brass, 4-star general, guys. This guy's information is worth considering when he puts it out, because even though he may not be in an official position today, he's gotten the intel, and he could just be a pawn being used to put this kind of stuff out. I don't know, is a threat to Russia. Is it, or would we really do it? Would we really live up to it? I don't know, guys. But here, oh yeah, there's this nuclear train too that's moving, that's got a lot of nuclear materials on it in Russia. So the Russians are moving their nuclear train, supposedly. And here we are, Russia to test nuke drone Poseidon. This is underwater, unmanned vehicle from a gigantic Belgrade nuclear submarine. And Italian media leaked this, and it was supposed to have been top secret NATO report. Yeah, so these guys, how do they get a top secret NATO report? But we also know this. Suddenly, the Russian submarine with a nuclear tsunami technology vanishes. I know where I'd look for it. You know what? I'll show you that in a minute. I know where I'll look for it. We're going to go look at Google Earth in a minute. I'll show you exactly where I look for it. Here I am. My channel's 4 years old now. I don't know why they show all my oldest videos is only 3 years now. Some of these should be updated to 4 years, because it was about 4 years ago when I brought this story right here. Putin ponders first strike. And I was talking about the super weapons. And so why it would be.
Better be aware of when we start poking the bear and pushing in the corners. One of those is.
Oh, there's the head. Well, there you are. I was talking about right there, the Poseidon nuclear submarine drone, which that torpedo is in itself a submarine. It has a nuclear engine. It's got an unlimited range. It can go for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. It can just go around the earth and around and around in the oceans until they finally want it to happen. Who knows, guys? This thing's got like a practically unlimited range that it can operate. This is very serious, guys. So, all right, let's stop this share. We'll look at some other stuff here in a minute. Where's my stop share button? There it is. Bing. Hello. Now we're going to do another share. We're going to go to Google Earth. Ding, 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 ding. Flash, Gordon. Meet everyone. Boom, 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 boom. Whoops. You're supposed to save everyone's, isn't he? Well, you never know. All right, guys. Let's share. Where is my button not working? One momentum, please, as Lily Tomlin used to say. And Roland Martin's laugh in. Who's old enough to ever actually watch that live? All right, guys. So where could this submarine be going? I would say if it's carrying 6 Serbomas, I don't know if it's carrying 6 Serbomas or 62 megatons or all dummy warheads. But if it were carrying 6, maybe it would want to launch all of them at one time. Maybe it would want to time them where they'd all arrive at the destinations. Well, now, if you were on the East Coast and you had Serbomas, and one would take out the entire eastern United States, or would you want the other one to go off? Well, they might put one in the Gulf Coast. Well, then you still got another one. Maybe if you just want to devote 3 to this side, you could have one go off anywhere in this area, like maybe right here. And that would take out England, Brussels, Sweden, Finland, a lot of the NATO bases right here would be taken out if you just set it off right here. A lot of NATO bases. These narrow straits might protect Kaliningrad, maybe. But you can take out a lot of NATO bases by setting one off right here. One right here. One right here. One right here. Oh, but Greg, we got a lot of stuff on the West Coast. How would he do that? Well, you'd have to thread this Bering Strait, wouldn't he? Well, I got an idea about that. So if he's going to try to thread the Bering Strait, and maybe their devices are that intelligent, the be guided where they have to hit a city from a long distance. Yeah, they should have that built in. Maybe if they got 3 more, they'd put one right around here off Sacramento, take care of the entire western coast. They might put one to Hawaii, unless they might save the western coast to the Chinese. The Chinese are one way to get in. Of course, the Chinese could come in from Mexico and go up, or come in from Canada and go down, or the Russians could come in from Alaska and go down. They don't need coastal access, but man, they got airborne troops. Maybe one out here. 1, 2, 3 Poseidons for the Pacific. 1, 2, 3 for the Atlantic area. So if you were going to do all these submarines, if that was your idea, is to take out most of your enemy with one submarine, where would you put it? You would want to put it someplace. Now, they could probably vary the speed on each of these torpedoes, and even maybe make them delay their attack until the appointed time. They said they can run 1 kilometer under the ocean, too deep for us to even detect them or even do anything about it if we knew they were coming. But you'd kind of want them where you were still kind of equally positioned from all these different target points. Here, 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 although from here it might be hard to do. Here, here, and maybe over here around Japan. I would submit the best place to launch from all these is right here, Bering Strait. So, hey, Navy, keep your eyes out in this area right here in Beringia. Beringia was the old isthmus that was a land bridge back in the Ice Age. Beringia, Bering Strait. I'd say keep an eye out right here, because this would be a great, because then they wouldn't have to worry about threading the strait so much. They could fire from this point, and you're almost equal distance to all those targets. Hint, hint, intelligence guys, keep an eye out. I'm not saying it's going to be here. I'm not saying that's the case, but I would definitely keep an eye out in this area. And the seas are kind of shallow here. It might be kind of easy to watch this area. Now the Russians are listening to me and go, oh no, we got to change plans up, can't launch them there. Well, if I actually made them change their plans, now wouldn't it be funny if some little YouTuber here made the Russians change their doomsday plans for the whole planet? Holy smoke. Or maybe we could lead us catching them and stopping it if that were to happen, if that were to be what was intended. But then would we stop it if we didn't, before they launch? Because if we don't know they're going to launch, I mean, what do you do? There's a lot of dilemmas associated with this, guys. But an EMP over the United States and taking out our coastal areas, we would be dead in the water, guys. Super MP and maybe Super MP a couple of other places where we got a lot of our forces, like out here, Europe, Super MP over Europe. They probably put it right out here so it wouldn't affect them too much. Thanks to the curvature of the earth, they do it far enough away. One right over here over Kansas, actually Omaha would be the most effective place to launch it, to detonate it. Would take out the entire continental United States, large portions of Canada. Sorry, Nate, you're in that sphere, and a good bit of Mexico. And if the nukes start flying, these are the main target areas right here. Nate, you need to get out. Get out of there, man. It's up in Saskatchewan, I think. So, Nate, I know you watch me sometimes. You need to have some good bug up plans, buddy. So, guys, here we are. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Don't say Greg Allison said this is going to happen. I'm just telling you that the Russians now they're going to eventually have other submarines that can carry these torpedoes. Right now, they got one, and they can carry 6. So, if they really wanted to do an attack, I would submit they would probably want to do it. Of course, each of these submarines are capable of going around the world several times. Not submarines, the torpedoes. They're nuclear-powered torpedoes, guys. Winter William Puglager, you got to remember attitude too. Is Lee in the house? There he is. My address is Kansas is the best address. Okay, Lee. How you doing, Lee? Lee, the word out, and I want you to hear this, Lee. The word out is that I was looking to see if he was in the room here tonight. I'm glad you're in here. Lee, the word out from Doug Thompson. His family lives in Shenandoah Farms in Shenandoah Valley, right next to Mount Weather, and they're saying the whole place is buzzing. Lee, he said the skies are loud. He's saying that there are helicopters flying with no lights. They have no running lights, and he said they managed to see a couple of them, and there's no numbers on the tails. They got no tail numbers, Lee. And Lee, you told us some time back that if we were about to have a continuity of government operation, the thing we would see was the helicopters running down the Potomac. I'm thinking they're not running down the Potomac yet, but this may be a prelude. Lee, what do you think about this? I'm glad Lee's in the room here, so Lee can give us his 2 cents on this, because this is something that Lee is steeped in. This is something Lee understands. So I'm glad Lee is here. Lee, tell us what you think about the continuity of government. What does it mean for Mount Weather to be buzzing like a hornet's nest that somebody hit with a baseball bat? EMP, I don't know, maybe nothing, not sure. Most aluminum shield. Those things ain't worth 2 cents. Forget about them. Good God, what a scam. All right, I said it. They'll probably sue me. But I'm tired of people talking about those damn things. They're, pardon my language. I'm in a community of people. I've chaired 2 power grid defense conferences, and they talk about, all these power grid defense people use these. I don't know anybody that's using them. Nobody that's serious that really knows the topic is using that silly thing. Look, guys, current requires big wire to block. Yeah, sure, it's a fast current. But guys, their wires are big as that. Ain't no bigger than that. Come on. And the whole plan is to shunt the thing to the ground. Well, if you know anything about what we're trying to do, the power grid defense, we're trying to stop the current from the ground coming up. And they don't do that at all. I mean, it's basically it's a poor, cheap lightning surge protectors. All they're giving you a little bit of maybe a fast response time. But I know somebody that does the components out of it, one of those, and he said they're the cheapest, some of the cheapest components you'd find, and that Siemens builds better equipment. And if you wanted to protect yourself a little bit, buy a Siemens surge protector and put some ferret beads in line with your power system. And you'd be a little better protected than probably what the junk these guys are selling. And but it ain't gonna, it's not. It's even then your protection is going to be very dubious, but it might be better than nothing. But I haven't got anything like that on my house. You know what? If you get an EMP, you might just need to leave your house. It'll probably burn down, even with their crap on it. So I got no faith and confidence in them. So yeah, I have a friend that got sued by them. So that's why I said they'll probably sue me now that I've actually come out and said, I'm just tired of seeing people talking about their stuff in chat rooms all the time. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's junk. Their testing only covered a certain spectrum of the testing, and the so-called lab is not a lab of great repute anyway. So it's horse feathers, guys, horse feathers. So don't feel like that's gave you some. Don't feel like you're good to go now that you got that. Besides, the grid went down, you wouldn't have no power anyway. They're having your house. If it kept your house from burning down, if you're not gonna have no power. So what good is it going to do? What good is it? None. All right, what's Lee saying here? I got to pay attention, Lee. The sub is propaganda. Delayed 2 years. Well, it's out in the water right now. It's out in the water. No NDA sign. All right. Now, I'm not signing NDA with them. They like to sue people for slander. That's what that company does. They're worse than Jeff Bezos to be litigious. Yeah. So the heck with them. They do that to me. I'll buy one of those darn things and I'll burn it up live on video, just for everybody, the whole world to watch. They mess with me, I'll smoke them. I'll smoke them good. I got friends that's got test labs too. We'll run it through the ringer. They come after me, not anywhere near. Anyway, so let's kind of have a look here, guys. I just mentioned where I thought it would go if this thing's in the water. But what I talked about was Petraeus's content there, Lee. But Lee, you're not talking about Mount Weather. You're focused on Poseidon. Tell us what you think about Mount Weather, Lee. Give me your take on Mount Weather. What do you think is going on there? What does it mean when the place is buzzing like that? So let me stop this share. Stop share. Hello. Now I am going to stop that. I'm going to come over here back to where we were at. And I'm going to come over to the next thing, guys. Whatever you think, I would say you need to be prepared. You need to get ready. Can you imagine how much noise prop would make trying to make, well, they claim they got the super cavitation technology where they put air bubbles out in front of it and it slips through a lot faster, but yeah. But they're also talking about Mount Weather is doing training. So you say it's training, well, it's pretty heavy training, but why are they training so heavy now, Lee? All right, well, hey, I'm just bringing the news as I got it because I just got the word from somebody that's right there next to Mount Weather. These helicopters are running with no running lights, and they're running. Antonio, how you doing? Really loud. There you go. Antonio, you got a source on it? Antonio's connected in with that. Let's see, Raptor, we don't know whether wow, we didn't know whether it was buzzing. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing from the people that are there, that it is really loud. That's how I'm electrical fool. I'm the electrical fool you want in a grid down. Not kidding. There you go. Rest of the pieces aren't buzzing too, only there. Okay, that's good to know. But maybe they're just getting the place ready. So let's do another share screen here. Bing, 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 bing. All right, guys, get yourself ready for whatever comes. The sun is throwing out a big flare right now. We got some major sunspots coming around. So I highly encourage you guys, You know, food prices are going up. If nothing else, this is probably just a good investment just from the standpoint of food price, food inflation, 3 months. A 3 month supply, 20% off, guys, if you go to prepwithgreg.com. I don't know why they are prepared with Green Greg's. It's actually prepwithgreg.com, and it takes you to My Patriot Supply. You get 20% off right now. And, you know, some people says, well, that's expensive. Well, you know what? That's about 2 weeks worth of groceries. So if you got 3 months supply with all this stuff, yeah, look, guys, you're doing pretty darn good. And even the 1 month supply, you still get a discount on it too. So that's a pretty good deal, guys, right there. If you just go out and calculate what that is on a per meal basis. And, you know, if you don't want that, just go up here and once you go through prepwithgreg.com, it helps me. Look, there's all kind of things to be prepared for other than solar flares and rooskies like hurricanes. You know, a lot of things to be prepared for, but you can go through here and get water filters, you can get MREs, you can get the big number 10 cans, and they've got other prepping supplies in here. A lot of other things you can get. Potassium iodine. Oh, they still got that. $9.95. I think I'm gonna go buy some of that right now. So yeah, a lot of places are out of that. So if you can find that, you're doing good. But they've got water filtration, survival items, survival gear, cooking gear, power and lighting stoves, first aid, survival books. Yeah, if grid goes down, you need books, survival coffee. Dude, that's what I live on is coffee. Air purification. That's a lot. See, you know, they got a lot of stuff in here, guys. Check them out. So we'll go on beyond that. Bing, bing, bing. Other things of note, and this could be posturing, irregular presence of nuclear capable bombers detected near Finland. I won't even go into that one. And in Scientific American, talking about even a limited tactical exchange of weapons would be catastrophic. And they're mainly looking at the possibilities of escalation. And then we got this Swedish, the Swedes are sending down some diving teams to check out this pipeline to see what they can discover about actually 2 pipelines. And we're seeing 1 and 2 were taken out. So this could be the genesis of a wider war right here. Lee says it is. What isn't what, Lee? Antonio Costello, if it were, many other things would be happening at the same time, and they're not. Let's see what's Antonio saying. All right, Lee, what's going on in the air? You're tracking aircraft. I've heard from some of the other channels that we've got some of our Doomsday craft in the air, some of the critical comm crafts, aircraft. Nothing's better. Anyway, solar doesn't work good in the winter. Hey, wood stoves, guys, wood stoves. All right, guys, the sun is cranking. Sun releases strong solar flare. This is a solar cycle 25 NASA site. Yeah, we can scroll all through the NASA sites and not have an issue with it, guys, just because this is government. There's no copyright claims to government sites. When I go on those other news sites, I usually don't scroll down into them. Occasionally, I might accidentally hit the scroll button, but that's not intentional. So we're going to go over here to space weather in a little bit. Oh, spaceweather.gov, that's a different space weather site. NOAA, National National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. We got some good stuff here, guys. Yeah, there you go. There's your solar flare. Today's date. There it is. That's the one that just fired off. There it is right there. All right. Let's go to another page. Space weather. Here's a sunspot group coming around looking pretty big. AR3112. That looks pretty big, just come around the limb of the sun, guys. Multiple CMEs are coming. Multiple CMEs are coming. The NOAA forecast says there's a chance of a G2 class geomagnetic storm. Okay, that's probably not one that ought to scare you to death, but still, it's moderate. See, guys, moderate. Power systems, high altitude, high latitude, like maybe Quebec, power systems may experience voltage alarms. Long duration storms may cause transformer damage. If it, if it gets a long soak. Spacecraft operators, corrective actions to orient may be required. HF radio propagation can fade at higher altitude. So this isn't one to be scared of, guys, but it's definitely an attention getter, which means maybe they could go higher. It's possible these things could grow and get more active. Well, that's a pretty picture background there. Now look, the aurora is pretty intense right now. Check that out. That's a pretty intense aurora. Or dates of October and December for financial crisis, says New Days. Finances, yeah, a lot of stuff's getting crazy. You going to bed tonight, Lee? All right, Lee. Glad you were in here, man. Yeah, I do need to give you a call. Lee, you might need to email me your latest phone number. So like when last time I tried to call you, but some issue with it. So yeah, we need to talk and we got to catch up on some stuff. Been a while. Been a while. A lot of stuff's going on right now. The world's going crazy. All right, Lee, good night. Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. I asked if you was in the house earlier, and there you are. APOC power, the best of Russian propaganda is how they like to talk about how well these weapons work. Well, hopefully we don't find out. Hopefully we don't find out. They've definitely used them for blackmail already. Wow, look at that. That's a very pretty aurora. Look at this, guys. Look at that shimmering. I have seen that, man. I have seen that. Now that is a very active, pretty aurora. Wow. So while we're here, we might as well just kind of go through the space weather stuff a little bit. Let's look over here and look at this again. That is a big sunspot group, guys. It's coming around. Yeah, that could flare up. That could be a Carrington kind of group, guys. That is big. Call me tomorrow. Okay. Very good. Space Girl. How you doing, Space Girl? We got 317 in the room. Wow. That's almost a record, guys. That is almost a record. 317. Guys, what prompted this and made me go live tonight was hearing from Doug Thompson, my friend Doug Thompson. He's got family that lives at Shenandoah Farms right next to Mount Weather. And they say Mount Weather is buzzing like a hornet's nest that's been hit with a baseball bat. They literally say the skies are loud there. Loud skies. These transformers would be bad. If we lost a bunch of those high power long distance transformers, if you lose there's nine critical substations, they went out to take that down our whole grid. If you lose several of those, there ain't no fixing the power grid. It takes 18 months to get them a loading dock, and that's, you got to have a working grid just to get everything fixed up, guys. Michael Jackson had to say a good chance of X-flares coming out of the sunspots. Well, yeah, there's a chance of that. Let's go back up and look what they're predicting now. Now, you know, they're always kind of conservative. You can always get something on the outside that's even worse, guys. Now, Lee is discounting the Poseidon nuclear torpedoes. Guys, I would not discount the Sarbama. And I'm not sure how, we don't know this torpedo, you know, just to rub it off, I think it's a little premature. So let's see, where is the normal forecast? She's right here on the left side of the screen. There it is. There it is. M-class flares, 75% in 24 hours. Guys, look at this. X-class, 35%. In 24 hours to 35% in 24. So over the next 2 days, each day, we got a 35. It's a 1/3 chance each day in 2 days of an X-class flare. Wow. A 35%. Let me repeat that. A 35% each day. 0 to 24 hours, 24 to 48. Does that collectively mean a 2/3 chance? I don't know. It don't really either multiply it, don't add. But guys, holy smoke. This is a huge probability that we'll get an X-class flare in the next 24 hours. Now, the lower level X-class flares aren't something to be scared of. That's what we're talking about, a G2 storm. But if you look down here, ooh, look at this. High latitude, severe storms, 65% within the next 24 hours. Wow. Now, mid latitudes, the chances go down. You see, you can see the active, minor, severe, mid latitude, severe. This is, mid latitude is, like the northern states, United States, maybe even lower. 20%, that's 1 in 5. Would you play Russian roulette with a revolver that only had 5 chambers and 1 loaded? That's the kind of odds we're talking about. 1 in 5. 1 in 5. Apparently it goes down the next day on some of these, but that's still pretty big on the high latitude. Guys, those are huge chances. That is not good. That is not good. Now, if this is all you had to worry about was seeing some pretty lights in the sky, that would be wonderful. Problem is, because we've not hardened our grid, we've got to be worried about some of those pretty lights in the sky, which normally we shouldn't have to worry about. I've covered it in so many videos, guys. I don't really want to have to go into all right here, but I got tons of videos where I talk about why that can be so bad. Wow, guys, that's amazing. That is crazy. Hey, Blue Marble News, how you doing? Space Girl, I'm happy we have our... Oh, Space Girl, you missed my whole tirade. I would not be happy with that. I would not be happy with that. You go buy some tissue paper and put it in your power system. I think it'd be just as good. I am not a fan of those things. And I don't know. I participate in 2 national level power grid defense committees, including the MP Task Force on National Homeland Security, founded by Dr. Peter Vincent Pry, the late Dr. Peter Pry. I'm also in the Secure the Grid organization. Ain't none of us. There's between the 2 organizations, there's probably 40 of the world's top EMP experts. Ain't none of us using that. And I chaired 2 power grid defense conferences. Ain't none of us using that device. None of us. We don't want it. We don't use it. Yeah, hide that person from the channel there these days. Somebody with a name like that, that's just trouble from the get-go. Wow. So, yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. By the way, here's other news, guys, just to kind of look at some other things. The Army can't recruit. Well, some sad-looking recruits. Sad face. These guys don't look to be in tip-top shape. Maybe they're fresh in. They hadn't gone through basic yet. So I actually, let me stop share for a minute. I had wood chips delivered today. I had some mixed hardwood, piney, cedar chips delivered. I'm gonna put them in my garden a few days ago. Well, maybe a couple weeks ago. Today I got hardwood chips delivered. That's what when compost is makes the best worm bed there is. And that'll go in my worm beds, but it's got to break down for a while first. It's going to take it a bit. But the guy that delivered it was an ex-Marine, young guy, just out of the Marine Corps. He went to Rock twice, and because he didn't get enough there, he went to Kandahar in Afghanistan. Oh yeah, he went to Kandahar. This guy's seen some action, a lot of action. This guy was telling me that, yeah, with 305 in the room, hey guys, give me some more thumbs up. I need some algorithm. He told me that when he was in, already they had these things called stress cards. If the drill sergeants got mad at you, you put up their stress card. Oh, I'm stressed, and they couldn't do nothing to you. So what? You got to be kidding me. And that's before the Army got as and Marine Corps Army got as woke as that. The whole purpose of basic training is to have somebody yell in your face and tell you you're a maggot and maybe slow you a time or two and make you do push-ups and just yell at you and cuss you out, because that builds character. That builds strength. It builds, kids need that. They don't need to be coddled all the time, especially if you're going in the military and you might have to be captured, be a prisoner of war. How are you going to make it as a prisoner of war if you're a snowflake? How's a snowflake make it as a prisoner? What they do, they're going to rat out their whole units and everybody, oh, don't hurt me. I'll tell you everything going on. Loose lips sink ships. Yeah, surely they can interrogate you enough over time, almost anybody will break. But holy smoke, at least you give it a little element of time, give your compadres a little chance to get away. You don't need to be the snowflake that's going to melt the first time somebody turns the lights on. Jeez. toughen these guys out. Look, as a gardener, if you grow plants in the greenhouse, you don't take them straight from the greenhouse to the garden, it'll kill them. You got to harden them off somewhere. So I've got an area on top of a camper. I put stuff that's still got a shade trunk where the plants can start to harden off a little bit. That's what basic training is. It's to harden the young, I could use what the Marines call them, right? Harden them young troops off, get them tough before they have to go out and face the real world. And I really think that probably every kid in America ought to have to go through a basic training like that just to build the character and put them on the same level. I think it builds character. I think that we deprive our kids and deny them the experience they need when we coddle them so much. It's a shame that the kids are coddled the way they are. Every now and then you need a kick in the teeth. It builds character. Yeah, I've been hit by a drill sergeant, okay? So what? Yeah. Did I cry? Did my world end? Did I crack like an egg? No. But I tell you what, when we was at bivouac, they told us that we had the right to defend our M16. We could do anything we had to do to defend our M16. We were told when we were in bivouac, the drill sergeant would try to steal them when we were asleep. Yeah, come on, please, come try to steal my M16. Oh, I was so thrilled to hear that. I found me a nice little root ball, made a beautiful club, some really spiky edges on it. And I had that by my hand, and I used my boot string. I tied that M16 to me, and I would just say, please, drill sergeant, come on my tent. Please, 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 please. They didn't mess with me. No, they did not mess with me. They didn't even come anywhere near my tent. In fact, I ran my so-called buddy, and we had a buddy system. I ran my buddy off, and I made him sleep with the darn drill sergeants because he was such a goofus. And furthermore, I was the guy sneaking around. He was supposed to be in your tent, and, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, I snuck out of my tent, and I was going around and finding the guys on guard duty. I was throwing rocks at them. I had them bushes, throw rocks at them, just speaking them out, scared. What's that? I heard something. What was that? Poof. That's me. That was what I was doing. Mr. Green, they don't even do shark attacks. And oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah, they need to be toughened up. This is what. And then we throw in all the woke culture on top of it. The guys who were guys, they don't want to join the army anymore. I asked this guy, I said, would you go to the military now? He said, oh, no. This is a guy who, after 2 tours in Iran, was so bored, not Iran, but in Iraq, that he wanted to go to Kandahar. But he wasn't going to the military now. And now they can't recruit. Duh. And these are the troops who are supposed to go out and fight a war. What? Excuse me? Oh, yeah, and we're told that we're a war not so civil in this country.
Hey, Greg, Doug Thompson, sorry I can't send you a text message right now.
Stop. I'm trying to stop that. My phone went, I accidentally touched it. Anyway, guys, I don't know what to think, guys. It's we are in perilous times, and here we are facing World War III, and our troops are not hardened off. They're a little stress card. You're stressing me out. Oh my God, you're stressing me out. You should be stressed out. You should be stressed out a lot. You need to be tough. Toughen them up. Yeah, no kidding, Jim. Toughen them up. Oh my God, buttercups. Oh my gosh, snowflakes. Oh, I got a snowflake sign around here somewhere. Where's it at? Buried under the strata here. Yeah, I have to pull it out. Not in the future. Anyway, guys. What are we going to do, guys? All right, let me end the share and come back into my stuff here. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. I taught this guy, and then I'm seeing this article today. Just like when I got thinking about, man, we're like living some bad science fiction movie. It's like Mad Max, and then suddenly my phone pops up with that Soylent ad. So, really? Oh yeah, Soylent Green. What year was that happen? Did that Soylent Green set the year 2022? They've so much stressed that it was in the posters, the movie posters, in the year 2022. And where are we at? Year 2020. Alabama Constitutional Crusader. Hey, that's a great handle there. That's a great handle. Me no speak a Latin. The oppresso libre. I hope you're saying You're the liberator against oppression. Let's see here. Anyway, guys, did I hit screen share? No, I meant to. Give me a second. All right, we'll go through a couple things I'd ordinarily go through in my live sessions, and then we're probably going to end. Yeah, we've been on probably about an hour here already. So let's go in here. If you're just joining us, the whole reason I went live tonight was to bring you breaking news. The breaking news is Mount Weather is buzzing. The Will Walker says it's training. Maybe it's training. Let's hope that's the case. But why are they training so intensely now? The people that live there, they've been there for decades. This is like new to them. So this is why. So the question might, even if it is training, why is it so sudden and why is it so heavy duty? Somebody's taking things seriously. And then you get the comments from Petraeus, who said, you know, if there's one tactical weapon go off in Ukraine, we're going to wipe out all the Russian forces in Ukraine. What we consider to be Ukraine, what NATO considers to be Ukraine, not what Russia considers to be Ukraine, and sink their ships. He went on and added that somewhere else, and sink their ships too. Now, this could be fluff, could be propaganda, but holy smoke, guys. Janet Petraeus, former head of the CIA. How you doing there, Connie? No one lives a warrior until the enemy is at the gate. Yeah, that's true. Well, big hugs to you, Connie. Lisa Bowen. Hey, y'all. Hey, Lisa. So I will, Antonio says, world is going to make us tough soon enough. Yeah, we'll be toughened out. No kidding. The weak will be weeded out. That's not what we're heading for, guys. Children of the Corn. Remember the song Children of the Sun? Alrighty, guys. Oh, yeah, I was going to share a screen. I hadn't done it yet. Bing, bing, bing. Here we are. Here we are in the share screen universe. And we're looking at the NSGS, USGS, excuse me, earthquakes and Puerto Rico. Oh, poor Puerto Rico, man. What is about Puerto Rico? Now, look here. Is San Andreas getting ready? Is it getting primed? Oh, that'd be just perfect. All the other stuff going on, right? And we got our obligatory Western Texas earthquakes, Hawaii, Middle United States. And what is this one at? What's it going to tell us over here? Oklahoma, Dover, Oklahoma. Anybody in Dover, Oklahoma? Where's this one at? Susitna, Alaska. Kamchatka, Japan. Japan's always the Philippines. This is a real active area here. See if there's none around Krakatoa. Krakatoa's right here, guys. Okay, Mid-Eastern Europe's quiet right now. Mid-Atlantic region. This has been a very active area in the Mid-Atlantic region recently, right here. I mean, we've had seen some super activity in here. Oh, look all around the western coast of South America, pretty active there. All right. Windy. Kind of backed off here to kind of look at everything. Big picture, snow in the Alaska range. Up here, that's not surprising. Up in here. Like a few snowflakes in the Rockies. There's that lightning. That's lightning. Things are cooling down. It's autumn or early autumn. 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 84 and 88. Okay. 50s up in here. Saskatchewan. Hey, Nate, you're in the 50s, aren't you? But you don't read our Fahrenheit scale. A lot of 50s in Alberta. 48 at high level. That's where our friend Arnold Schmidt is from Alberta. The New Days that's with us here is in Maine, almost over to New Brunswick. 39. She told me it's 27 degrees there last night, I believe. 27 degrees. South of Exodus 2:22. Stranger in a Strange Land. There you go. That's out of the Bible. It's also the name of a science fiction book. Drops, you got to love that, what it's all about. Plus carry a big stick. Oh, yeah. Walk softly, or even speak softly, and carry a big stick. Remember in high school, the big guys, the tough muscle up guys were always jovial, always laughing, laid back. Why? Nobody's going to mess with them. And Mother Nature, who are the playful animals? It's the predators and their cubs. Why are they playful? Because they can afford to be. Because they're at the top of the pyramid. Food pyramid. Maybe that's why human kids are so playful. Because humans too were apex predators back in the day. You realize our ancestors were not vegans. Our ancestors weren't even omnivores. Our ancestors, Cro-Magnon, were meat eaters. That's what they're recently finding. Well, a lot of snow in Siberia, guys. Lots of snow in Siberia. Anyway, so much for all that. Let's see what should be warming up in Australia. Oops, where Australia go? There it is. The snow down here off Antarctica. That's going pretty high up too. All that snow. Australia is in the springtime. Pretty warm. Got a bunch of 80s, 91 out here in the outback, 64 over here, 59 in Melbourne, Hobart, 48. Okay. New Zealand. Also got 286 in the house. So why am I off in all these areas? Oh yeah, I did want to look at this. I meant to come here earlier. Let's see if we can get this map to blow up. No, it's not blowing up. Fleet tracker. Well, now, if you were a Sir Obama carrying submarine, you'd actually want to take you out a good number of these aircraft carriers. If you set one off the West Coast, you could get USS Abraham Lincoln. We don't have you right. Well, there's several in port. You can probably get the ones in port by setting off and taking out our coastal areas. Kearsarge might escape if you're aiming just at these targets I was mentioning earlier. The George W. Bush might escape, but if you put one over here, like I said, around Japan, you could probably take out the USS America and the Ronald Reagan, 2 aircraft carriers there. So you could probably, the ones in the ocean would probably have 3 left. 3 out of our total number. The ones in port would probably get taken out if they did the Sir Obamas. So I suppose, you know, China's now got 3 aircraft carriers. And Russia don't have any aircraft carriers, not operational. Russia just couldn't, even though they sold one to China, they just had trouble, a lot of trouble trying to do an aircraft carrier. It was not in their cup of tea. Now, they were pretty good with submarines. Russia built a lot of submarines. Cowgirl in Arizona, how you doing? We got new people joining us here, so I'll have to give a little bit of a recap here. Hardneck, how you doing? So in a recap, let me stop share for a minute. Back over here. We'll stop share. All right, to recap, I don't want to be long here. We want to make it short. We're almost done. We've been about an hour on here. I don't want to go way over an hour because people don't want to watch a video when it's 2 hours long. Recap. What started this video tonight was I got word from a friend, Doug Thompson, whose family lives right next to Mount Weather, Shenandoah Farms, where he grew up. His parents are still there. Been there for decades. And all the time they've been there, they never heard the kind of activity they're hearing right now. He actually said the skies are loud. There's all kind of aircraft buzzing around. But he says it's training, and it may be training, but apparently they hadn't had this kind of training before. And the aircraft running around without any running lights. And a lot of the tails on all the aircraft, a lot of the helicopters have no markings on them. A lot of helicopter activity. A lot of helicopter activity. The skies, they said, are loud. So to me, that says that something is cooking. Greg, when Lee calls you tomorrow, let him know that I may have a handle on Phil's the troll. On Phil's the troll. What are you talking about, Craig? May have a handle on Phil's the troll. Oh, is that a particular troll? A troll named Phil's? So you got some background. I don't know this troll. Get my house prepared. So guys, what it boils down to is somebody's getting ready for something. You don't do that kind of training, unless you're serious. Now, apparently, according to Lee, the other sites, the continuity government sites are not buzzing like that. So that's probably a good sign that it's not imminent. Nothing's imminent, but they're getting ready. If they're training, they're doing it very seriously, and apparently more so than they have done. At least from what I'm hearing from the people who lived there for decades. So this really caught their attention, especially no running lights, no lettering on the tails, like kind of a black helicopter thing, right? Let's see, robot dogs also swim like torpedoes. Yeah, but they ain't got nuclear engines in them. So those nuclear engines give them a lot of potential distance. Now, if you hear Lee talk, there is not any kind of Russian weapon that's capable of doing anything but shooting spit wads. I hope he's right. But I think some of those nuclear devices are probably quite capable. So we got to be careful there. Witness for justice. It's quiet in Tucson. That's good to know. J Fields 12. So you got some background on this person, huh? This is a troll that's been giving Lee trouble. I assume he got banned. I can't believe y'all let a troll get away in this channel very long. Not hearing it tonight. Drops, where are you located? Where are you located, Drops? I know we've chatted before, Drops. You've been in my channel a long time. But help me out. Where are you located, Drops? Dave Smith, hi from Arizona. I'll do a quick share here on a couple of things just for those that are just joining us. Many of you have heard about Petraeus predicting the U.S. will lead NATO response to take out Russian forces if Putin uses a nuclear weapon. They're talking about even a tactical. What Petraeus said is that we would take out all the Russian forces and what Ukraine considers to be Ukraine, or NATO considers to be Ukraine, not what Russia. Hey, Cha-Cha, how you doing? Take out all and sink all the Russian ships. This would be a direct, full attack on Russians in the area they consider to be Russia now. I would expect some response for an activity like that. I would expect some escalation. And for those that hadn't seen this already, Petraeus is highly, he retired 10 years ago and somewhat disgraced after he got caught sharing some secret intel with his female biographer. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. This is Petraeus being sworn in by Biden. That's Petraeus's wife that he cheated on, by the way. And this is the biographer he cheated with. I don't know, I think his wife looked better. What do you think? Anyway, she looks like she'd bite you. And she did. She bit him. But in any event, yeah, he cost him his career at the time. But if you think he's not connected, he doesn't have information. He is co-chairman Task Force on North America for the Council on Foreign Relations, the CFR. Now, guys, there's a whole lot of us get the heebie-jeebies when we hear CFR. So, Washington Speakers Bureau. This guy's co-chairman, Global Advisory Council, Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. A lot of us get the heebie-jeebies on just the name Woodrow Wilson, right? And I showed down, since I've been highlighting this other stuff, I guess this is not highlighted anymore. Yeah, he was also started with Senator Mark Kelly, a veterans gun control organization. So, I'm not exactly a big fan of Petraeus. Apparently, he gets bipartisan support from both Republicans and Democrats. Obama nominated him to a position, but even Trump considered him to be Secretary of State. Fortunately, Trump didn't take him. Yeah, he's a 4-star general. But he is definitely in the order of the world that's not so new, if you know what I mean, guys. But he made those statements. Of course, the nuclear train supposedly moving, the drone, I talked about Poseidon submarine. Article came out, they're supposed to be doing testing. But this thing has disappeared. Is it testing, or are they actually on course for a potential combat mission. So let me end this share. Bing. 311. Wow, we got a lot of people tonight. This is amazing. So what's it all boiled down to? Well, my good friend Lee Wilbarger would say nothing because Russians can't tie their shoes. Well, that's right. In terms of us getting attacked by them. Well, guys, I'm gonna tell you though. One thing is that, one of my guests I've had on my channel many times was the late great Dr. Peter Vincent Pry. I've known Pry for a long time. He was at my Power Grid Defense Conference back in 2016, 6 years ago. I had him back 2 years later. A few months later, I got him to come into the state and go with me. And the head EMP expert from the Army, Dr. Steve Nixon, the three of us briefed the head of the Alabama Emergency Management Association, the head of the Public Services Commission for Alabama, and several other key Alabama, including some people work for the governor, several key Alabama officials in Montgomery. And so, I've been trying to push this power grid defense stuff for a long time, guys. And one thing that Dr. Peter Pry told us in one of the many interviews we did, and I've done a separate video on this myself, is we've talked about a first strike from Russia. While Russia would be tempted to do a first strike on the United States, if they can EMP us, with EMP super weapons, technology which now is also in North Korea and China, perhaps even Iran, that those EMP super weapons can put out 200,000 volts per meter, 4 times higher than the hardened spec that existed up to that time for our military hardened facilities. So it may be that we can't respond at all if this hits us, that we may not be able to communicate with our submarines and other key installations to give them commands to launch and retaliate. And furthermore, if they're using these Serbama nuclear torpedoes, they may take a lot of that out, a lot of that capability out. Our satellites can also get taken out. They're also part of the communication network. So there's several ways it can attack us: hacking, EMP, attack on satellites. All these things are up for discussion. Direct kinetic attack on our power grid here. You really got to realize even most of our military base, most of their power comes from the civilian grid. But even if we didn't take out even if they didn't fully take out our capability to retaliate, if they impede our country, we would be flat on our rear end. And with the full knowledge that we're about to lose at least 9 out of 10 people in this country within the span of a year. The so-called officials, if they're worth 2 cents, would be busting butt to try to keep everything stitched together. Their hands would be full. So if Russia did something like it and then turn us, oh yeah, by the way, if you hit us, we're going to hit this place and this place and this place. But what Pry thought was that the Russians would launch a limited nuclear strike on the United States and take out all our strategic weapon systems. Essentially, they would take out all our missile fields and strategic air centers like Minot and the Dakotas, that they would take these places out so that we'd have nothing to respond with. Because our policy, the United States policy, is that we absorb the first strike and then launch afterwards. Stupid as that. We used to have a launch on warning, but no, now we're supposed to absorb the strike. If your power grid gets taken out, if you get EMP hit, taking out your comm systems, and you got all your missile bases knocked out, all the attackers got to do after that's hold you hostage. It's okay. Hey, Mr. President, or whoever's in charge, who's left, or whoever his puppet master is. Yeah, New York City's next. Or they might just go ahead and get New York City. Say, okay, now the next city is Detroit, or the next city is whatever. They can name any city: Atlanta, Dallas, Fort Worth, Memphis. They'll just start naming cities. Chicago. if you try to do anything to counterattack, we're going to take all your cities out. But if you don't meet our terms, we'll start taking out your cities one by one by one. Nuclear blackmail in the highest order. Maybe that would be a possibility. Maybe that's possible. Nick, EMP, yeah. Well, the EMP would be part of their initial attack. And remember, what Dr. Pry taught us is that the Russian doctrine is that an EMP is not a nuclear warfare act. It's an act of electronic warfare. It's like hacking to them because you're not directly nuked. Although it's started by a nuke, the effects on the ground are electric. That's the effect. It's electric on the ground. The EMP from this device takes out our electronics, our power grid, and our power grid is the linchpin of everything else. All our critical infrastructure goes down. Remember, there's already been an attack on apparently their critical infrastructure. This could be tit for tat, more or less. And it would end the United States as a viable competitor to Russia if this happened. If they wanted to take us out and take the pressure off the United States, that'd be the way to do it. Take out our power grid, take out our strategic forces, and then say, okay, by the way, if you don't follow us, we'll just finish you off and blackmail us the rest of the way up. But they might take out our coastal forces too with this sort of bomb. What can you do if the center of the country's got no power, no comms, and all the coasts are cut off and radioactive, and you can't go in and out of the country? What can you do? You're doing everything you can to survive at that point. You got to remember, in the United States, we're talking about continuity of government here. How come we don't have continuity of people? Why don't we have civil defense anymore? You realize in Russia, they believe that they've got bunkers for over 40% of their people. It's Moscow. Underneath Moscow is a huge bunker system. It's supposed to be able to take care of the population of Moscow. They put 4 million people in bunkers a little over a year ago in Moscow alone in a drill. 4 million people had a drill to go down in bunkers. I have been in the Moscow subway station. It's 400 feet underground. It's the deepest rail subway station I've ever been in. More than twice as deep as any other real subway I've been in. It is way deep, and there's blast doors to those doors to the surface. And there's like 2 distinct different levels to, if I remember right. But you get down there, and each subway station is a work of art. They're all built during the communist era, and they got a lot of communist art in them. But every one of them is different. Everyone's unique. Everyone's very much a work of art, and they're actually beautiful. But they've got a lot of stuff the public don't see off to the sides. That's where the real bunkers are. You don't see it directly in the subways. The subway is the way in and out to them, apparently. So why don't our country try to protect the people here? Just asking. Why is it our country protecting the people? And why are they only interested in protecting their own little rear ends? Anyway, it's disgusting that we don't have civil defense here. It's disgusting that they're not trying to protect the people. They only protect the government. But the most useless thing we got is the one thing they're trying to protect. So there you go, my friends. If the aircraft are allowed, then good chance they are Ospreys. They were around here a couple weeks ago, National Guard press. Trade check says the USA has not won a war since World War II. Yeah, well, you got a point there. We really haven't. We really haven't. Now, at least we had a draw in Korea, right? But we didn't win it. It's still an armistice. New days, I'm used to helicopters flying along the border without lights, low and slow. A whole lot of them, does the sky get loud? Oh, we got helicopters around here because we got the command where in charge of development helicopters is now here, Fort Redstone Arsenal. The training center is at Fort Rucker down in South Alabama, but the actual engineering headquarters is up here. Patrick Bellew, 750 miles away, knocked out power. Oh, yeah, you're talking about EMP. Yeah, you're right. Starfish Prime there. John the Spirit, giving hugs to Cha Cha. Taz, B-762s left Wichita, Kansas this afternoon and flew to North Carolina. Seymour Johnson goes to North Carolina. They were landing on Apache helicopters from Fort Bragg. Yeah, I was at Fort Bragg. I used to be stationed there. I almost got sent to Iran from Fort Bragg. First MP, Starfish Prime. Yeah. I've talked about Starfish Prime. I got charts that show that explosion of pitch sometimes. 1819 pandemic birth. Oh, IRS. I'm taping up my window, says Cowgirl. Yep, you're right, Patrick. Wilson. What a character. What a character. So I'm going through some of the notes here, guys. I like to look through your chats. I usually try to read every daggum chat, but there's so many tonight. There's just no way, and it's getting late, and we're already over an hour in this video, my little Green Atlanta. Or was it Green Atlanta or this, or was it my friend Judy Doll? I forget now. I'm getting brain locked. Y'all, one of y'all. Judy, did you give me this, or was it Green Atlanta that gave me that? She's in the house. Dave Smith from Arizona. I got 40 acres in Arizona. I got more land in Arizona than anywhere else. And that's the only land I actually own outright. Sans taxes, it's got to be paid every year, but I'll keep that up. Greg, when Lee calls you tomorrow, oh yeah, you were telling me that. Craig Teeter, that troll named Fields. But what was your handle on Fields there? Let's see. Kathy Pittman, talking to the others. So I've got I'm looking at the chat room right here, guys. I do that in case when I'm going through all the screens on this computer, I can't keep up with the chat because I got too much on this computer. Now I actually could look at it from here, but I'm just kind of used to. I can scroll this, and this is a touch screen, so it's easier to scroll. We have to take all things serious. Exactly. That's my point, Antonio. So Lee is very dismissive on Russian forces. He basically says the Russians can't chew bubble gum and tie their shoelaces. I'll tell you what, Russians until one time the Soyuz rocket was the most reliable rocket there was. And they built some really good rockets, so much so that we use Russian rockets for Russian rocket engines, the RD-180s for Atlas V rocket. And we actually test fired those at the Marshall Space Flight Center. One of the big test stands with the S-1C stage, the Saturn V was once fired. And I watched that test. So I know the Russians can build some stuff. So I'm not going to be totally dismissive. I think it's dangerous to, as President George Bush used to misquote, to misunderestimate. To misunderestimate. That's a double negative, which makes it positive. Your enemy. So, and you know, if we'd have done it right, Russia would not be our enemy. We should have negotiated Russia a long time ago to watch China, but we kind of blew that opportunity. I've talked about that many times. Terry, thanks for the heads up. Transgenic corns. Oh, birth control. Oh my gosh. Stick them in the woods. Yeah, they're his woke military now. You're right, New Days. We got an Auburn fan in here. Eddie Collins. The Army ain't what it was when I got back in 91. Oh, okay. Trade Shack. Drops. Esley. Whoa. 337 in the room. Yeah, we're going to go here in a minute, guys. But I came on live to bring you the news that Mount Weather is buzzing. Mount Weather is like, okay, I got to the top of the chat room. Go to the bottom again. Just hit the bottom button. Off we go. That's what Judy was saying. Me and my granddaughter are walking down memory lane. Oh, that's good. I just put peeps on the list. Oh, somebody was saying some bad stuff. All right. So our country doesn't give up. Well, government don't seem to, does it? They're more concerned about themselves. Hey, Granny Atlanta, how you doing? Thank you for sharing. You guys just shared the Freedom Restoration Foundation. Appreciate that. Be sure you share also the Survival Tribe Network. SurvivalTribeNetwork.com. Share that if you would. People need to know about that. We got to get our survival tribe thing going now, guys. Ukraine has been helping to reduce soil toxicity. Well, what are they doing for that, Patrick? Lisa Johannesson says, hi, Greg. Hi. Lee Wilbarger underestimates the Russians, just acts like they're a complete joke all the time. They're not capable of doing anything. Well, that's what he says. Well, you know, they have definitely been underperforming so far. You know, this has been a special military operation, not a full-fledged war. But, you know, they've not met the expectations that they had. But one of the biggest reasons for that is there was graft and corruption in the military. Sure, the generals told Putin, yeah, we got this, or we can do this, we can do that, and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, the emperor has no clothes. I've mentioned that kind of phenomenology to you a zillion times. You know, somebody in power like Putin or Xi Jinping is told a lot of stuff by their minions, and it ain't always true. So they live in their own worldview, and their worldview may be highly skewed. The only problem is once you get a skewed worldview and you get your finger on a big red button, you're dangerous. That's a case I've been making for some time. It also applies to little Kim over in North Korea. Let's see, BS Nick, he has dunked down people. All right, Frozen, I'm trying to make it wait. BS Nick, he has dunked down people. What do you mean by that? Dunk down people. What does that mean? Did you watch that video on that? Granny, which one is that? You got to realize I get 80 hours worth of videos sent to me every day. People know I don't watch everything sent to me. I couldn't possibly do it. Plus, I got a day job. I got side work here, a lot going on. Sunflowers, yeah, sunflowers are supposed to pull chemicals out of the ground. You're right, Judy. But then there's probably in the sunflower, so you got to dispose of the sunflower, right? So you got radiation in it or whatever. You got to pull that up too. Heavy metals, radioactive stuff. Hemp science is now advancing to leaps and bounds compared to stagnation. Okay. So now look, you know, Lee's a friend. I respect him. He has got a lot of expertise in military comms and weapon systems, sensor systems. Oh, he's talking him down. Lee's a good guy, but he does have a certain perspective about the Russians, and I don't, you know, I think there's a lot of truth in it, but I also think that you can't discount them. I think they do have form weapon systems. Now, how good they are in the long run. Look, guys, you know, if you had 6 Sarbamas and only 2 of them worked, that would be a catastrophe, unbelievable. So if they were mostly, Lee's live now, okay. So if they were, I thought he was going to bed. If they were mostly non-functional, but somewhat non-functional, you know, one of them would be a catastrophic release. A Sarbama is mind-boggling. Full-scale Sarbama, they only sell for half skill. Cha-cha, high drops, Rocket Man, Granny, and everyone else. I forgot. What'd you forget? I got contaminated soil delivered. Oh, that's not good. Vivian Hoosley, Lee Wilbarger, he was in here earlier. He's got a channel. He covers a lot of live news. He's got a big network. I'm a member of his big network, you know, of news network he's got. So, and Lee and I have done videos together. So, you know, I respect Lee. I don't agree with him on everything, but I don't agree with anybody on everything. So, I do see Drop says Lee has knowledge and great on tech. That's right. He is worth his weight in salt. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that. And one, you know, he and I have got together and, you know, called BS on a lot of other channels. A lot of people are putting out pure BS that we, you know, from the science and engineering standpoint, we know is not true. I'm sub to Lee's channel, Nick says too, and I know that, yeah. But I don't think we can be too dismissive of the Russians because Russia is about to put a whole lot more people into the mix. Now, if they don't train them properly, it could be an issue. Now, some of these are supposed to be veterans, so at least 300,000 out of the million should be veterans. So they're calling the reservists back in first. And in Russia, they get a lot of reservists because most of the men of military age are supposed to go into at least a brief training session, and then the reservists after that. So PAEMT-FF9, guessing that mountain has several targets on fresh air supply. Greg, before you talk to Lee, got to talk to you. Okay, New Days. Hey, Fazioli's in here. Hey, Fazioli, did you get your worms? Where's Fazioli at? He's supposed to get his worms Friday, I believe, in the mail. We had our last chat session. I don't see him. Where's he at? I don't see him in here. Joe, you know, a different channel said your name, but I guess I was talking about someone. Well, what channel is that? B21's checking number. All right, Arnold, good to see you here. Never underestimate your enemy. That's right. That's what you want to do, Greg. The FAM set up a new national RadNet. Okay, that's good. There's Fazioli. Actually, he's got here's Fazoli. Fazoli, but your name's got that extra vowel in there, the extra I. Hands Hamlin, good. See, I got a buddy named Grazioli, so I put the Eoli a lot. Grazioli. Fazoli. So Faz, I say, to keep them all weekend. Got them today. All right. Today, wow, they're late, but they got your worms today. That's good. Boom. So took a week to get to you. That's a little bit of a time. So ship worms. Fazioli bought worms from him. He got them today, and he says they're in good shape. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. There you guys. Everybody give a big hand to Fazioli. He's a worm customer. So let's see. Patrick, Russians surprised the U.S. before 1957. Sputnik missile gap. They had all the first space stuff. That's true. That's true. I have been to Inky, the company in Moscow. I've been to Roscosmos. The offices were decrepit, but there's a lot of smart people I talked to there. Granny, my worms are growing like crazy. Glad to hear that, Granny. Granny is also a worm customer. Big hand for Granny. So, yeah, if you want to buy worms, guys, it's a great prepping. You know, if you want to be able to grow your garden, I have to go to the store, buy worms. Hans Hammond at Green Graves. Halo, and good morning to you, sir. And it's always a pleasure. Oh, it is morning. It's 3 minutes into the morning now. Maybe I should bring up my worm website, right? Show you guys real fast. Ding, 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 ding. All right, let me go back to our chat room here. Share screen. Ding, ding. All right, guys, if you come in here to this website, there's a lot of tabs you can click on here at the top to take you to different places. Like you might want to do the wild edibles and medicinals. Days Old Ways is quite expert in that. Or go here to permaculture, worm videos. That tells you everything you need to know about raising worms from the start to the end. It's organized according to when you need to know the information. Starts out with the basics about worms, talks about building worm beds and bedding, how to take care of them, and on and on. It's logically organized like you need to know it. Gardening videos. It's also got some aquaponics and microgreens videos mixed in there. And if you want to buy worms, just go click buy worms here or buy worms here. See, it says buy worms, buy worms. You scroll down. And there you are. You click any of these buttons, you can buy worms. Or if you just like what I'm doing, you can hit the donate button. And usually I get whatever you donate full. If you want to buy worms locally, there's local pickup. All right, guys. And there's my wormfish logo. My leafy wormfish logo, GG. Now, my partner in microgreens tells me that we don't need worms and fish on our microgreens logo, so we may have to make a special logo for microgreens. Now, I will be growing mushrooms. I bought out another company, so I can, hey, go fishing, guys. It's nothing to do if you got worms. All right. 500 worms. $30 and up from 16 here. What do you got there, Provoke? All right, so yeah, well, I sell mine by the weight. Now, I used to sell by the count, but it was an estimate based on weight. So I sell mine by the weight now. And if you see what kind of worms, all you got to do is go down here and click on these guys, open my worms up, guys.
Welcome back to the city said.
Yeah, he's got his own YouTube channel. He's a good guy. Check him out. Subscribe. There's Diamond opening up some of my worms. There's another shipment to Diamond that's being opened up by Top Knot. I think this is a Top Knot video, the worms he got from me. So yeah, you can go through these videos.
Hi guys, I just got my order from Green Greg's. Get down, Lucy.
Yeah, just go through those videos if you want to see them. All right, whoops. Oh, that's enough of that. Stop sharing. Halo. All right, we've been going a long time here, guys. We've been going a lot longer than I meant to. My husband started farming worms during the lockdown. It's a good time to start, guys. That's what Good Eating says, over clucker. Your chicken, yeah. Meanwhile, in the squirmy news, there you go. We didn't lock up the chickens. Oh, you better get the chickens locked up. All right, guys, just to do a fast recap. What was the night all about? Mount Weather is buzzing. And I get this from people who lived there for decades. And, you know, Lee says it's just a training exercise, and it may be just a training exercise, but it's a big one. And so the likes of which have not been heard by the family that lives there, and that's the Mount Weather before, apparently. So they say the skies are loud. The helicopters and aircraft are flying around with no running lights, and there's no markings on their tails. So that's interesting. We're getting ready for something big, apparently. Getting ready for something big. And then we got Petraeus. I just showed how he said that if if Russia drops at Ukraine, we're going to take out all the Russian forces in Ukraine and sink their ships too. That's a huge claim. And that puts us directly at war with Russia. So that's huge. So I think in the final analysis, what I would really like to consider is this. Taz, my dad had a worm barrel. Yeah, all right, good. Always had bait. Exactly. Let's put things in perspective. We're talking about incinerating the whole planet practically. Now, there'll be survivors. At least initially, most people will survive the initial war. The bulk of the population will survive it, unless you live at ground zero, or pretty close to it, where the strategic nuclear forces are. Hey, Magic Prepper, you're a little too close, Magic Prepper. Yeah, we have another good prepper channel. I'll give a shout out to Magic Prepper. He's right there near Minot Air Force Base. Oh, Magic Prepper. Hope you got a bug out plan. And then we got our buddy Nate, Canadian Prepper, up in Saskatchewan. Man, you're too close to those bases, Nate. You better have a good bug out plan too. And we've got two top preppers, man, and living in peerless areas. But they're aware of it. They know what it is. No area is totally safe, but some are better than others. But you know, the full-scale nuclear war, those are targets, big time. And that's where you're going to get the bulk of the radiation, because they're going to hammer the heck out of those places with nukes if you get a full-scale nuclear war. The NMP, according to Russian doctrine, is not nuclear war. So the Russians could EMP us and not declare war, and contrary to certain recent articles, because if properly done, you don't know who launched it. In fact, some other country might launch one now, like China, hoping it will suspect Russia did it. You know, the good old James Bond, you know, evil doctor, evil mad scientist trying to take over the world by getting the United States and Russia in the war with each other. that kind of thing. That could happen. More so now than ever. I know they'd be lucky to get 6 on the ground. Fazio, I should have bought more. I'll be back for more. There we go. Good. See, Fazio bought worms. Now he's saying he should have bought more. Tom Wary, what happened to your Product Papa's channel? I started to go live on it from the flea market, and I discovered it wasn't on my phone. I couldn't get it loaded on my phone. It's not on my phone. I may use Product Papa's to do some live videos that I think really aren't suited to this channel. Actually, that's price. Actually, I bought a 1/2 inch drive impact tool for brand new DeWalt, and I got a charger for $220. What's it cost you in the store? Like over $300 just for the impact tool. DeWalt 1/2 inch drive. Man, sweet. I got brand new at the Dog Days flea market. And if I could have went live on Product Papa's, I would have, but I didn't have my phone set up right for it. So we'll do that. And I've got some videos that I filmed way back. I was planning to put on Product Papa's. Guys, I'm just overwhelmed with so much stuff right now. But I will be doing more on Product Papa's. And I've also started Swivelhead News. So Swivelhead News will cover the kind of stuff we're doing right now. I'm going to take this kind of content off Green Regs and put it all on Swivelhead News and not do this in the future. So I got to start migrating it that way. I haven't got Swivelhead News yet approved to do a video over 15 minutes or go live on it yet. Maybe I better double check Product Papa's to make sure I do it with Product Papa's. But that's the intent. So every time I do a prepping video, I get 4 or 5 people unsubscribe to it. Every time I talk about current events, because I know one video gets more watches on this channel than any of them is my 5 key things about worms. That's still my #1 performer. And a lot of people subscribe in there, and a lot of them don't like the political stuff. And I'll turn around and unsubscribe. Even though prepping isn't really political, it should be apolitical, but a lot of people take it as that. And they just unsubscribe. Or maybe they just don't want to hear it. But all the YouTube channels that tell you how to do YouTube videos tell you to make you take one small, very narrow focused niche, whatever you call it, and do your channel about one little topic. And I started to do that. This channel was started out to be a channel on urban farming. Quite simple. But people discovered that I'd chaired 2 Power Grid Defense conferences. And they asked me about that. And I covered it. And suddenly I had a whole bunch of people subscribed all at once on the Power Grid Defense video. That was like suddenly the bulk of my subscribers all at once. So I've been a prepper before prepping was a word. We called it survival. I've been doing this for a long time. I was a kid in high school. Some of my favorite books were written by Yul Givens on wild edibles. Yeah, I've been prepping ever since I was a teenager. So prepping comes natural to me. Swivelhead News, you're going to go on the Rumble channel? I'm on YouTube with it right now. I've got it set up. So I don't think you can make any money on the other platforms, but you don't make much on this one either anymore. It's really going down. I'll be honest, my last month, I made less money than any month since I got monetized over 3 years ago. This last month was my worst month on YouTube. My channel has grown. Income don't even exist anymore. Rather, for all intents and purposes, it's nothing. So I'm glad to get a super chat. Income from AdSense. They're running ads like crazy, but I ain't making nothing on it. And I'm getting less views. I actually got more views when my channel had like 15,000 subscribers. And I get today with 57,000 subscribers. More views way back then. I get today. Although I think this video is going to do good if they don't demonetize it because of what we're talking about. My last good performing video got demonetized. Hope this one done. I've tried to watch what I say, but I did delve into a couple of topics. I might get sued tonight. So, anyway, guys. So the breaking news is that Mount Weather is super active. Other breaking news is that Petraeus has claimed that if Russia retaliates with a nuke, on Ukraine. I kind of think they're going to, because contrary to that, what does Medvedev say? You know, the former president of Russia, right-hand guy for Putin. He says, yeah, we can nuke Ukraine. The United States won't do anything about it. So the Russians don't think we'll respond. Petraeus says, we'll wipe you out if you do it. Yeah, I think there's some possibilities for some misunderstanding. And that's the kind of stuff, theoretically, that leads to a lot of war conflict. Arnold says, Greengrass, whenever you decide to make your move, open up a new channel, you have my support. Well, I've already started. I got the channel there, just haven't put any videos on it. There's no video there yet. So, yeah, I'll have to figure out how to kind of migrate people, because most of the people that watch this channel on a daily basis watch for the prepping news. Let me see if I can pull up. Hang on, guys. Give me a minute. I'll try to show you. Yeah, Lee Wilbarger is alive. He says going to bed. He just got tired of hearing me, I guess. Ding, ding, ding. Where are we going here? Either that or there's too much news from tonight. He had to go live. Let me see here. Switch count. Ding, 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 ding. Hang on, guys. Oops. Yeah, I haven't been watching this channel, so YouTube's throwing me everything they throw everybody to look at. Yeah, stupid stuff. Go to my channel. All right, I'll share this. Hang on, I'll open another one to share you. Give me a second, guys. Hang with me a minute. I'm typing stuff in. It's sitting prepared ahead of time. I'm just doing it now. Don't even come up when I type it in. Tell when you haven't been, you got a channel that's not active and you type in the name of it, it don't even come up in the search engine. A second here. Give me a second. Let me la. All right. Here we are. I'm going to show these two channels to you. I'll do my screen share. All right, this is kind of the empty page of what's going to be Silverhead News. I'll probably change my little photo here. I thought that was a cute one because I had the Armageddon gear sign behind me. It says Armageddon, but you can't read it. So I'll probably change it to probably the picture you see on Green Rig's channel. And I might use my fish logo over there. I might change that one too. This was a silo on a farm picture I took at sunset one night. And I just thought it was a beautiful picture. I've used it in a number of my thumbnails. You can see I got no content here yet, so I will add content. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already, because this will be where I'm going to do all the videos like this and not too distant future. My plan is to migrate all this content to this channel. And I'll also upload some of my prepping videos off Green Rigs here. And I'm going to hide all my dated content on Green Rig so that evergreen videos will be more readily visible. That's the videos that are good year round, anytime. It's always got value to them. The stuff that's current news, just don't have lasting value, but it's choking Green Rigs. We can't even find the evergreen videos. So I'm going to hide a lot of content. Some of it I'll put over here. This is Product Papas. You see, I've actually put up 4 videos on Product Papas. And one of them was I did a tool runoff between 3 different impact ranches, and I show a couple spates of that. And I've talked about how sorry the Craftsman heater is there. I've talked about some problems with Dodge minivans, some cable charging issues. So things to watch. I had a safety alert on these phone chargers, things to watch out for from my own experience. So there you are, guys. And there's these 3 impact drills sitting on top of an old refrigerator next to some worm beds I was building. And I did video on making those worm beds at the same time, but I haven't uploaded it to Green Greg's. Well, I started editing because I just got hours and hours of video to edit. So when you got to edit a lot of stuff, it's hard to bring up grape nuts. Should I do a product review of grape nuts? Get your iodine pills just in place. Yeah, that's a good point, guys. Oh yeah, you can get the iodine pills. Looks like they're still available if you go to prepwithgreg.com. Go to prepwithgreg.com and go into the site there for, let's see, is that up here still? There it is. Yeah, and it takes you in my page supply. Yeah, when you first go into this, my page supply, and we saw them in here. There are some potassium iodine pills still available here. If you'll look for them, just look around. You'll find potassium iodine here. Prepwithgreg.com. Anyway, stop that share. Subscribe to Product Papas. Subscribe to Silverhead News, because that's where I'm moving this stuff to. And funny talk. All right, let's keep it talk. Let's keep everything clean, folks. I don't have to delete that. Let's keep everything clean, folks. It's a family channel. Good Lord, that was 1969, wasn't it? Oh, grape nuts. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yul Givens. Yeah, he did the grape nuts commercials. That's right. Yul Givens did that. Yul Givens did. He used to say some parts of a pine tree are edible. Or he didn't do that. I did. I did a video and showed you how to eat them. That's one of my videos. How to eat those parts of the pine tree. Yeah, I take it to the next step. To the next step. So let's see here. We'll share that. We got to go, guys. We seriously got to go. Gotta go. All right, let me do that. Let me go back to screen share mode. Hang on, I gotta move over. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I'm saying, oh, never mind. I see what I'm saying. Give me a second, guys. It takes me a minute sometimes to sort through all these screens. Forgive me, folks. It takes a second to find what I'm looking for. Here we go. Now, this is my video sorted on oldest first. Let's see that early on, somebody asked me about power grid video, and I did that one, and that one went, that's my first semi-viral video with 100,000 views real quick. It topped out though, and then only went to 115. I like the worm video, which is still going. Yeah, this video right here. Winter wild forest foraging. I'm actually showing you in here how to eat the cambium layer of trees, basically pine trees. And this is something you can eat all winter long. I'm showing you also a chickweed and different things like that. And you got to watch this video on filtering and sanitizing water by many different methods. It's probably the most comprehensive water filtering video there is on YouTube. It's only got 11,000 views. That deserves more views. And I can't believe me showing you how to eat a pine tree only got 4.2 thousand. I guess I need to redo this and just call it how to eat a pine tree. Although I did do a video called Eat Your Trees, Please. Here's a video I did, again, with Vladimir Putin. That's why I got this page open. And when I'm actually talking about the device we're talking
You
about.
better be aware of when we start poking the bear and pushing it in the corners.
There it is, guys. That is the Poseidon torpedo that we're talking about. And I did this video almost 4 years ago, long before any other YouTubers were talking about this stuff. I brought it to you first. So this is my oldest videos, guys. That's the old ones. Oh, there's a picture of me with some other people running the halls of Congress. I've blotted their faces out. Yeah, that's me right there many years ago. Fortunately, I don't think the thumbnails will come. There it is. There I am. And I got NSS lapel pin on. That's my friend Molly Joy. I forget these. That's what's her name? Think about it. Years ago. All right, my friends. Enough of that. Enough of that. Stop the share. We've been going for a long time now, and we've lost about 50 of our people. And Big Hug says, Connie, big hugs to you. New day is coming. Get my number from Gigi. Okay, guys. Yep. All righty, folks. We've been long enough here tonight. Too long. I get some coffee and I got some other things to do. Got to go out and turn the air conditioning off of my microgreen shutter. It's probably 60 degrees outside now. Vlad and I will be celebrating birthdays on Friday. Okay, John Long. All righty. You want to go celebrate with him? You were hot, Greg. Oh, thank you. Too bad I don't look as good. They didn't look as good then as I do today, right? So I just looked up Joe Gibbons, and the other day died in the 60s for an aneurysm. Yeah, it's kind of sad, Kathy. Some people accuse him of dying of malnutrition, but I don't think that was the case. Yeah, he was kind of young when he passed away, all things considered, but he did write some good books. Stalking the Wild Asparagus is one of them. So I used to have his books. So I've been a prepper from way, way, way back, and I always bought extra stuff whenever I could. So it's always been part of my mindset. So it wasn't any day I just suddenly started prepping, but it's paid off. When we had the tornadoes here, I said, when the pandemic started and everybody threw in the panic, the toilet paper preppers panicked. I said, don't wait last minute. Don't panic. Get your stuff now. Prep up. Guys, and if you're just totally broke, just buy an extra can of something every week. Buy a bag of dried beans, ramen noodles, whatever you can afford. Just get a little bit extra. Something else that lasts a long time. Nuts. They don't last forever. It's salted nuts. These are packed in sea salt. Deluxe mixed nuts. There's no peanuts in there. These are all tree nuts. I'll talk to you about the advantage of eating tree nuts because they're higher in magnesium. Don't get that peanuts. There you go. You're supposed to eat on video, are you? Unless you got a food channel. Okay, tonight we're in it as a food channel. So yeah, I started to make a point. I got distracted. Snow on the roof don't mean no fire in the furnace. That's right, Vicky. That's right. So, guys, they say the village, in Florida, the place called the Villages, they say it's pretty wild down there. So, I'm gonna watch out. So, we're talking about here major global war starting. It's kind of the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. How did that guy get my granddad in Europe fighting World War I? Why did my granddad have to go to Europe because Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated? Why so many young Americans die at teenage years, 18, 19, 20, 21, because the Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated? It's kind of like that. I mean, yeah, I feel for the people of Ukraine. I don't feel for people in any government, really. All these governments are corrupt, all of them. But yeah, I feel for the people. Yeah, even the Russian soldiers have been drafted. They don't want to go. I've been to Russia. Best trip ever made anywhere was to Moscow. I stood in the streets of Moscow and looked around and thought, why in the world would we want to nuke these people, nuke this place, and why would the world would they want to nuke us? I've had a lot of good conversations with Russians, riding around, one of the guys who was one of the key guys for landing the probe on Venus. If we want to cut them down and make out like they can't tie their shoes. These guys actually put a probe on Venus and it transmitted pictures. And I got to meet the people that did that. And just had a lot of good conversations with them. So, but why in the world are we on the verge of incinerating so much of our world over a country that we have no vested interest in? Sure, we don't. I mean, they're people, sure. So were the Houthis and the Tutsis in Africa. They were people too. They hacked each other up with machetes. We didn't do anything to help them. What a horrible way to die. Why are we on the verge of nuclear war, guys? Drops. Yeah, I'm ready to change it all. What really changed, Drops? Yeah, we're not far from the W word. Too much, too close. Yeah, they will get rancid over time, Vicky. They will. You don't last forever, but they do last for a long time if you don't open. Once you open them, they go downhill. Once they get the oxygen, they start really going downhill. And eventually will anyway. Do Greg raised that way? Preppers. Yep, I believe it. West Virginia originally. West by God, Virginia. But when you really look at it, what is there in that conflict that makes it worth losing and risking everything over? And I'd even ask the same for Europe. You know, Europeans have a huge economy. Europeans have more people than us. Why aren't Europeans defending Europe? Why is it Americans? Now, part of it is Europeans have got a big guilt complex over World War II, so they just haven't wanted to face this stuff. I get that kind of sort of, but I think it's time they get over it. It's time they not be a snowflake. It's time that they go through a basic training, get the drill sergeant yelling out, tell them toughen up, Buttercup. You know, I think they've been coddled a little bit too much, and we've coddled them, and that needs to stop. They need to take care of themselves and their own business, and we don't need to be over taking care of it for them. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we're putting ourselves. I never said, Gigi, I was just teasing you. What? My dad built missiles. We spent weekends on boats prepping. There you go. So, David Potter, dumb and dumber at the wheel. Yeah, they're the dumbest ones got the wheel in this country. Holy smoke, guys. Vicky says, one of my dad's saying was, don't. Yep, you're in your mess kit. Yep. Sure enough. Don't mess in your mess kit. Might be neater way to say it. Yeah, so we are taking huge risk. Is it worth it? Now, Lee would say absolutely. We don't have to worry about the Russians. They can't do nothing. And the poor people in Ukraine need our help. That's what he'll tell you in a heartbeat. You're right. What are we risking? We've not had a national conversation about this. This is what I'm bothered with. Why are we in there spending so much money? We've not had a national conversation about it. According to polls, most people in this country do not favor how much money we're throwing over there. So if we continue that, why aren't we having a national conversation to determine who we are and where we stand relative to that? If the powers that be think if those guys are enough threat over there that we need to do something to do what we're doing, they need to explain it better to us. But see, they haven't done that either. Of course, if you can't speak on a microphone without falling over, hey, just saying, right? I don't know, guys. What do you think? Need to take back control of our money. That's right, Jigs. Our phone was bugged. Oh my gosh. Right? Crazy Ginger says, honey is the only food that will not spoil. That and Twinkies, right? Oh yeah, Twinkies aren't food. Honey is. Trey said, you boys and girls still at it. Yeah, we're about to end their trade check. I'm wrapping up. So I'm just trying to look at perspective. What are we risking it all for? And is it worth it? Is it worth your kids, your town? Or would your kids in town be at risk anyway? Is Vladimir Putin so bad that he'd just keep coming? How far would he go? I don't think he'd keep coming. I put out there why I said he was doing this some time back. He wanted to be able to choke off the passes and the areas where we could go into Russia, like Catherine the Great and Peter the Great. He wants to mimic them. Russia has a certain point they want to expand to. They can't expand too much beyond it because they couldn't control. I don't think Russia will be able to control the empire they presently hold for a whole lot longer. Russian demographics are on the way down. Wow. I expect Russia will break up. If they took over Europe, Russia would break up. I still expect them to break up just due to demographics because their population is whoop. Same thing with China. We give them enough time, they will implode if we don't allow them to take over the moon. That could be a game changer. Very ugly game changer. That'll be covered on Galactic Rates. 10% for the big guy, says Vicky. There you go. They told us when they started the taxes, federal tax, the taxes will never be over 10%. You'll never have to pay more than you tithe. Yeah, right. Right. Lithium mines and titanium. You know what? We can pull that stuff out of the seawater. That's what we need to do. Not fight wars. Why aren't we getting that money on our Social Security instead? Somebody's laughing at Vicky. Oh, yeah. Velveeta will last 30 years. There you go. Buy Velveeta. It's cheap too. If you just eat Velveeta, you might be stopping up your passageways. The largest manufacturer of protective ammunition in Russia increases the pace of production of helmets and body armor 6 times. Yeah, and they're buying up potassium iodine like crazy over there too. I covered that in a recent video. Okay, guys, I think we've really covered enough waterfront tonight. Here's what you got to keep in mind. We went too long. I did not mean to go this long. It's just kind of hard to go with you guys. In the aftermath of Russia's military campaign, Ukraine, the second largest country in Europe, Russia is the largest as a major exporter of grain, cereals, including corn. Yeah, and the whole world's about to starve to death over this war. David, for that matter, why do we pay taxes? Amen. Amen to that. Russia can't hold their own. No, not for long. Russia will, in time, implode. So are we fighting a war to stop a country that's destined to implode? Is that what's happening? Are we risking the world to fight a country that's destined to implode? You tell me. I'm just asking the questions. What do you think? Tell me, guys. For those watching later, put it in the comments. So I know that you watched this far. Let's see, come up with some zany thing. So Greg, that was a short chain you were holding. I don't think you can hold any Ruskies with that chain. If you say that in a comment, I'll know you watched this video to the end. For those who aren't live now. Alrighty, guys. As always, how I like the end of these videos is the following. So I tell you to prep and pray. My gosh, today you need to be prepping. We know the economy's on the tethering back and forth. The sun is shooting back and forth. The world is somewhat less than absolutely spectacularly stable, if you know what I mean. Right here at home, domestically, there's a potential for a war that's not too civil. So we got a lot of things coming at us, guys. And then there's Klaus Schwab, loving as he is. He just wants to pull us all inside and take care of us so that we'll never own anything, never have any property, but we'll never be happier. Probably because he's got us drugged and got brain implants in us, zap us, we get a line and artificially stimulate us if we're doing exactly what he wants. Yeah, right. Jeez, that's what they want. But anyway, I'll see you guys going along with that program. Hey, if you wouldn't go along with the program to, where's that thing at? If you weren't going along with this program, I doubt if you're going to go along with the program to put stuff in your noggin, right? I am a robot. Norse gods of earth, fertility. Kissinger's not a Norse god. Ask Odin. Anyway, so what I like to tell everybody is this ranks one of the largest grain. Yeah, the Netherlands is a big food producer too. And look what they're doing in the Netherlands. They're killing the farmers. Why? Especially right now with all the food stresses going on. Let's see, did not spend money on civil security. Did not protect the population from the coming famine inflation. That don't surprise me. Don't surprise me, guys. Praise Yahweh, says Jigs. J11, just join us. We're wrapping up. No sleevers. There you go. you watch Montegraph, don't you? You're a Montegraph fan. I got you. General Sorrow. All right, guys. So it makes me think of the song Constant Sorrow from the Soggy Bottom Boys, right? Yeah, that's a good one. All right, guys. What I like to tell you guys, as usual, at the end of the videos, is guys, we don't know how much time we got in this world. I mean, you know, a little over a year ago, I thought I was having a great day. I was on my way to get some waters for my rabbits. Next thing I know, I'm hitting rear end by a big truck, and I'm, you know, went from a dead stop to my seatbelt broke back. I'm laying flat on my back in my van. It hit me so hard that the stuff that's in my pockets got thrown out of my pockets. I mean, the pockets in the front of my pants. And I'm hurtling toward a power pole. I can't even get my foot down the brakes in time to stop the vehicle. But, you know, I'm moved. Shoot. I look like Forrest Gump running for the touchdown. In that van, I was bucking. And actually, I went right between two power poles and hit another one. It wasn't pretty. So I got hit in the back, then I had a front collision. I had two for the price of one. But, you know, that could have been my last day. I mean, everything was fine. And then just a snap of a finger, the world was a different place for me. And I was injured in that. It totaled my car. Things can change so fast. You never know. You're not guaranteed the next breath. So be thankful for every breath you got. But the most important thing is these times of uncertainty, tell those around you how much you care about them. Tell your loved ones you love them. Your family members, go out and hug members of your family. Tell them how you love them. The elderly, the kids, people that need to be nurtured. Reach out to people who are alone and lonely. Just say hi, smile at them. And really what I'm talking about here is, you know, and all around the world, we talk about this country, that country. There's good and bad people everywhere. But every country on earth, there's good people. There's people give you the shirt off their back. Every city, town, hamlet, all across this planet, of every race, color, and religion, there's good people. It's the leadership that likes to stir us up against each other. So let's not get played in their games if we can avoid it. The only problem is we're all hitchhikers on this planet. They burn the planet up. We're all stuck on a scorching cinder. And if the POTUS gets Putin aggravated enough and Putin sends stuff flying, yeah, we're going to feel it over here. And you may love Putin, but we may be winding up getting singed over here because of it. Just saying. When it all boils down, who, what, and where don't really matter so much as what you got to do to take care of you and yours. Take care of your family. Do what you can. But mostly, tell them you love them. And the final word for tonight is this. And you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say, unless you've never watched me before. As light dispels dark, love dispels hate. Go out and shine your love light in the world. That's the most powerful weapon we preppers have to make a change for good. And if it all blows away, our job is to survive, stand up and shake it off, and start a new world and a better day on the other side. Hopefully we keep that glimmer of love and light going and spread it. Make sure the world on the other side of it hits the fan is a better world. Okay, guys, that's our mission. Survive this mess and build a better world on the other side if we have to. course, the first job is try to prevent it if we can. That's why I got freedomrestorationfoundation.org and all kind of stuff for you to do things. But if we can't prevent it, survive it. That's why we prep. But prep and pray. Be right with your maker. That's all I got to say. Well, I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for the super chat. You've been a bit busy tonight. I know that, mods. I appreciate that. Thank you. All of you that gave me a thumbs up, I thank you for that. If you've not gave me a thumbs up, throw me one right now. Be sure to share this video. Love and light. Amen, Granny. Love and light. That's what we got to do. Thanks for the link. Just subbed. All right, Arnold. Very good. We got a lot of other good channels in here tonight with us. And Crazy Ginger. Amen. God bless. So thank you, everyone. I just want to thank everybody for being here. Subscribe to my other channels. Share these videos. This platform has been stumping me hard, probably just because I started Freedom Restoration Foundation. I think that's really it. There's other preference channels tell you verbatim the kind of stuff I tell you. So if they don't bring you the guests, they'll bring you. They're not rocket scientists. Often I bring you stuff before they do, but that's okay. They still bring you good stuff, but they get like 10 times smaller. Other channels get 10 times more views than I did. When I had 15,000 subscribers, I got 3 times the views I get now. So the algorithms are stomping me. Help me out. Let's fight the algorithms. Share my videos. Give me as many thumbs up. Go into my videos and comment to them. Comment somebody else's comments. Throw likes on some of their comments. And just do that kind of stuff. So the more social interaction there is in the videos, the more they do. But also, you need to come back in my channel and watch to see that you're getting all the updates. A lot of people aren't getting notifications. So come back and check my channel occasionally. Make sure you watch some of my videos. Again, sorry for being so long-winded. So thank you, everyone, for watching. And with that, I'm going to say